Hi, friends. I'm Katie.
And I'm Lauren, and welcome to Okay, But Did You Know? A podcast where we talk about the TV and media that we love with a friend who's never seen it before.
Today we're recapping and chatting about Bob's Burgers Season 7, Episode 11, A Few Gurt Men, and Episode 12, Like Jean for Chocolate. And we always start off with a synopsis, so here is A Few Gurt Men. The kids are participating in the school-wide mock trial. Tina is a juror, and Jean and Louise are up against each other as lawyers. They begin their case of Snow White versus the Evil Queen, and Louise calls for a mistrial, just as Mr. Frond and Mr. Ambrose pass by arguing. Ambrose is accusing Frond of eating his yogurt, and they agree to bring the case to student court. Only Louise has to defend Mr. Frond. Frond insists he is innocent, and Louise figures out who the actual yogurt thief is and outs Judge Conklin as the thief. Meanwhile, Bob and Jimmy Pesto deal with a customer that has lied about hair in his food. They make a plan to get back at the scammer who happens to be a celebrity impersonator. They hire him for Mort's mother's birthday and then realize they didn't get back at the scammer because they paid in advance. So they make him finish his performance, which was probably the most disturbing of the entirety of the show.
Yes, it was. Oh,
But
absolutely
we
it was.
also always start off with our puns. And what did you get for the vacant storefront?
Bath sheet crazy.
That's such a good one. This is
It's so good.
the pest control
And then
truck.
a fume with a view exterminators.
Yeah, it's supposed to be on the E.M. Forster novel, A Room with a View. And then you should be happy.
There are two burgers in this episode, I believe.
Yes.
We have It's My Havarti and I'll Rye If I Want To burger. That's a good pun.
That's really good. That's supposed to be a play on the Leslie Gore song It's My Party. I love that one.
That's a good pun. It rolls off the tongue, unlike this next one, which is, I get the pun. I know what they're referencing, but I think they crammed too many puns into it.
That's
it's
fair.
hard. It was hard to write down. It's the Fingerling Brothers and Barnum and Bayleaves burger. It's just so many words.
It's a lot of alliteration there. Like
it is. It's just hard to say. Well, I mean, fair.
alliteration.
Technically speaking, Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey. Yes, it's all, but that's also a lot of alliteration. But there's something about it's the adding of bay leaves for Bailey. I think
like you probably
makes it
could have
harder to
gotten
say.
away without the bay leaves. It would probably work out a little bit
I
better.
think honestly, since most people this, because if you know, Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey is a circus, most people I think tend to just either say Ringling Brothers or Barnum and Bailey. Very few people say both.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard anybody say both.
So if we just done Fingerling Brothers burger or Barnum and Bailey's burger, either way, I think it would have been easier to say. But to be fair, I'm the only one saying it out loud.
That is true. You are the only one saying this out loud.
So there's that.
Well, fun facts. The title of this episode is a reference to the 1992 movie A Few Good Men. Sorry, my dog needs to lay down. He came in to see that his chair was taken, so now he's got to go sit on the couch.
Gotcha.
All right, now he's laid down. This episode features Mort and his mother's first appearance in season 7. Like, we're already about halfway through the season, or more than halfway, I think. Or about halfway. And this is our first time seeing Mort. Like, we don't see Mort for a little. Mort kind of just appears from time to time now. We go through this weird stint, I think, where you just don't seem to see Mort as much. I don't know if the voice actor was getting other work or what, but like it's kind of weird. Like there's times where you just don't see Mort for a while, but they have solidified Teddy so much into this like family dynamic, which is really weird because you would think like usually when they do like a family episode, it's the family. Now they've got to the point where it's Teddy's always around. Always. But some of the things that airing of this episode, no opening titles were used on some of them, so some locations didn't get it. Instead, an establishing shot of the restaurant appears, unlike the actual establishing shot after the opening titles of the back of the restaurant. A short commercial aired within the body of the episode for the Bob's Burger fan art competition. They called it the fart competition. Just before the first commercial break, meaning the opening sequence may have been cut for time. So yeah, there was an art competition back in the day that they did, and it's actually really cool, and you'll get to see more on like the art competition stuff that they've done later on. It's actually one of my favorite things. Let me make sure if I remember exactly when that happened, because it's this competition leads to something that happens into the next season.
Gotcha.
that involves the fans. So Bob's Burgers, they've
Okay.
always been there for their fans. I can say that.
That they have.
They
Yeah.
are very big on doing things for their fans. But the food scammer celebrity impersonator is not named in any dialoguing.
Dialoguing. I like it.
But he's not named. But according to Fox press release, this episode, his name is Herbie,
Okay, then.
which feels fitting, I guess. But apparently, his name is supposed to be Herbie. And then, of course, during the mock trial, Mr. Bronca's lines, "You want me to out there finding your spoons? You need me out there finding your spoons," parodies similar lines in the climatic courtroom scene in A Few Good Men.
Gotcha.
So what'd you think?
I wrote down a lot of lines I was counting in before because I usually tend to highlight them. My first one is just, do you know anywhere that serves good food, Bob? I was like, that's cold, Mort.
Right?
You're in a restaurant. Like, dude.
I did love Linda's line, though, of, "Ooh, double homicide, twice as nice." Like, that's a Linda thing for sure.
If I was having a funeral, I get my dead bodies from your place.
You'll be home in time to talk to your cats and knit yourself to sleep.
What kind of charming goes around kissing dead girls?
Oh my god. This would have been great for you.
Well, the fact that it was a Snow White trial was hilarious.
She loves revenge. Revenge and shrimp.
I have that one too. It's a crime of passion fruit.
I mean, today me, not yesterday me. Yesterday me was phoning it in.
I just wanted to upset the witness, Your Honor.
I've never seen a man this naked be this smug.
I have that one too. And my last one is, it's all hearsay. You hear it, then you say it.
The jokes in this were wonderful. I can definitely say
the
I
hearsay
prefer
one because
the A plot to the B plot, though.
I would agree. I think the hearsay one, though, that is very much a kid's interpretation of what hearsay is.
Exactly. It's
like, it was perfect.
So good. But I'm excited to hear your thoughts because this one is kind of fun because you do get your little Snow White and the Evil Queen. Like, could you just imagine if we actually had that?
I mean,
it'd be so funny.
Yeah, because I would say, so my high school had mock trial, like, as a club kind of thing, but, like, with that, you're not, they're not doing this. I mean, to be fair, doing a mock trial of fictional characters is more or less in reading comprehension, I think, than anything else.
Yeah.
Is kind of you're analyzing and picking apart the story, and, like, they're asking questions to kind of get the heart of things. Like, that's what this is more an exercise in. Like, real mock trial is, like, I believe, like, they take, like, real cases and, like, they try them in their own, like, they do all the same research that lawyers would do. They have to follow the same courtroom procedures and stuff like that.
I remember doing something like that.
So, like, my school definitely we had mock trial. I want to say we had Model UN. I don't remember, though. Model UN is still a thing that confuses me how that works, but I remember, like, when I first saw Jean walking out with, like, the fancy clothes, like, I remember those random days when, like, you got to dress fancy for no particular reason at school. Like, it makes you feel better.
That's where you
like,
really
I
see
get
our
the
style
thing of
choices as teenagers.
Yeah.
There's nothing like seeing the prom dress you wore, and you're like, oh, I did that.
I did. I liked my prom dress. I had a very nice prom dress, I will say.
3 different ones.
Senior prom, not junior prom.
I went to 3 proms and 3 military balls in high school. So I wore lots of dresses for someone who's not a huge fan of dresses.
Yeah, I went to junior prom, senior prom. There was no dance in middle school. However, I went to a lot of bar and bat mitzvahs.
Oh, I bet. Oh, God.
That was
13 must be such a fun age.
Because that's also the thing with the dressing fancy like that is, like, not only is, like, you're seeing people's, like, style kind of and how that works. Because I didn't go to that many, like, dress up Sweet 16s because most of my friends just didn't have them. Or they did, like, if they had a Sweet 16, like, you weren't, like, dressing up like some people tend to. But, like, it's the fact of you have all of us, like, dressing up, like, to the nines at the age of 12 and 13.
Yep.
Like, I like the dress that I wore as for my bar mitzvah. Because that was the one that I spent money on. Like, that was the one that my mom was like, we're going to get you a nice dress. This is your bat mitzvah. The other ones, we had nice dresses, but, like, it's different.
Yeah, it's different. Look, I'm sorry you said Sweet 16. I only went to, like, one really, like, serious Sweet 16 when I was growing up. And her dad was a firefighter. She got rolled into her through the field to our house on the fire truck, dressed to the nines, heels and everything, right next to her goat field.
Okay, then.
So the Sweet 16s I grew up around were very different.
Well, I say, I think of the two that I went to that were, like, they kind of got dressed up. One, was at our firehouse because her brother and her dad were volunteers. So, like, they have like a room that, like, you can like rent as like
Oh,
an
that's
event
cool.
space. It was so it's just kind of at the firehouse. The other one, a friend of mine, her dad. So I live not too far from a state park,
Okay.
and her dad, in addition to being like the fire chief for the area, he was also like a trooper for the state park. So they lived in the
Oh,
state
that's so
park.
cool.
Um, and they had this building that was on their property. To this day, I don't really know why it's there. It's basically just kind of like a big, somewhat insulated cement shed, but it's a big. It looks like, but I'm describing it so badly, but I can't think of any other way to describe it because it's like just having like an event space in the back of your house, but it's not like it's like super finished.
We had interesting
Like, it was
childhoods,
mostly made
man.
out of stone. It was mostly made out of stone.
At this point, we just need a good,
I'm
fun,
describing
like,
it.
personal Q&A from our patrons
What's
because the
what's really
rants.
worse though? No, but what's worse though is the friend who I'm talking about. She listens to the podcast. So, hi, can you describe your own thing in the back of your house better than me,
Just leave a
please? Because
comment so we
I'm doing
know.
it so badly. She's gonna know exactly who she
Oh, I
is.
love this. This makes it even better.
I'm like, I'm describing this so badly. Well, because the shed is a bad word, but it's because it's like one big space.
Or like an enclosed, like a
Is why,
patio
but
type.
no, but it was huge though. It was like, this is to my recollection, like, think of like a catering hall kind
Yeah,
of size.
but like,
It was big. This is so far
and it
off
really
topic.
is. I was like, how did we get here? But here we are. Fancy dress.
But yes, I like that for Dean, that he got to kind of, but I loved his whole Southern
It was so
lawyer
good.
thing, because that's exactly what Jane would do. Like, and then the judge was like, please talk normally because so the jury can understand you.
And that accent, he did a very good job with it because he did.
I think
that
so.
was, I would call that probably closer to a Savannah style accent. Like, that's what
which
that was. It was really, really good job.
He sounded a lot like John Goodman in the Bee Movie.
There you go. Perfect.
That's exactly what it was. That's exactly what it was.
Which was also Savannah, I feel.
So, yeah, I think so. Because I think that's like when you think of like that Southern lawyer kind of thing. That's the accent that comes to mind.
That's even down to like
I do declare,
like visual with it as well. Almost like the KFC Colonel. Like, it's almost the look visualization you put with that. Like, I can't help it, even though I know it's wrong.
Yeah. No, exactly. But you're imagining somebody with suspenders.
Exactly. Like, but like the white linen suit from, forever ago.
I'm sure someone still wears that.
So, yeah, what did you think of the mock trial? Like, making Louise defend Frond?
Like, well, okay, so the fact that it's a completely random system and somehow all 3 Belchers were picked for 3 different roles. Like, I get that it's a small school. There's no way in hell it's that small. But I like, it's a nice character moment for Louise that she has to defend Frond because she's inclined to just like throw this away and just let him take a plea, or I don't know what a plea would be in this case, and then him just agreeing to wear the stupid sign. But like, she understands what it's like to be falsely accused. Like, the accusations aren't all the time, they're not false all the time, but I think we've seen times where like she's accused of something because it's something she would do, and it doesn't feel great to be like, but I didn't do it this time. I know in the past it's been me.
Yeah, I feel like I did that a lot as a kid. I'd be like, I know usually I'm the culprit for this, but I totally didn't do it this time. It's not believed usually.
I didn't touch anything. Yeah. So I definitely understand. It's a good character growth for her that because like I like these episodes for Louise where you expect her to kind of stick to like what you expect out of her, which is either taking an easier way out or scamming the system or something. But you see her take a moment to learn, kind of like with the court deucers. Like, you see that regret and that flip of like, oh, this was not a good idea.
And this is where I get frustrated with people who can't stand her, who like literally hate this character, because yes, we see constantly all the bad things that she does, things she shouldn't do. She is a kid. Kids do dumb shit.
Yeah.
But we're constantly seeing these episodes because this is a trend. Like, you continue to just to see like growth episodes for all of the characters. Like, each of them, it's like it's still them going through like this growth, which is so interesting, even though it's not episodic in that way. with how it's formatted, and like because every year it's
Mm-hmm.
it's just a year repeating over and over again. Nothing really fully
Yeah.
changes. Like sets kind of change, but that's why I don't understand the hate for her, because we're constantly seeing her grow and you're constantly seeing her
Yeah.
like do better constantly,
Mm-hmm.
and still like to the point
Yeah.
like she kissed her friend because she saw what was about to
Yeah. She
happen.
kissed Rudy.
Like
Mm-hmm.
I will like I get it. I don't get it if you hate Louise. I don't
She
get it.
she shows the she shows the appropriate amount of growth that you expect out of a 9-year-old who's perpetually 9 years old.
Exactly.
Like, I get that it can feel a little repetitive because it feels like she's learning the same lessons over and over again, and that's because she
Yes.
is. It's just a lot of it comes down to expectation. If you expect her to go from here with this new knowledge, the show resets at the beginning of
Yeah.
each season. So like just imagine as if, I mean, like I know we know these things happen. We know that she's experienced these things and learned these lessons. But every year is unlike Once Upon a Time where time does move forward occasionally. Like time doesn't move forward. It's a continuous loop of the same
Yeah.
year. I mean, of different times, but it's they're gonna learn when long-standing shows like this that have the same formula where there isn't a forward growth
Mm-hmm.
trajectory that's not steeped into the show because that's not how animation works usually. Like people like they expect the growth out of these characters that they're never intended to get. I'm like, that's a you problem, not a
Yeah.
show problem.
And because like and they're not always meant to have growth, which then goes into the other side of this episode of us having to watch Bob, band together with Jimmy Pesto to get back at a guy who's lying about hair in his food. I get the comedic
Yeah.
line here. I get what they're trying to do, but it also just felt
Mm-hmm.
really out of character for Bob to band together with Jimmy Pesto for that reason. But then you go back to like, oh, but
Yeah.
it's the principle of the thing. Is this something Bob would actually do? So it is really interesting looking at it, the different aspects of the episode itself too. Because while the A plot
Mm-hmm.
very enjoyable, we have a lot of fun with it. The kids are doing great. They're all being themselves. Then you go over to this B plot
Yeah.
and you're just kind of sitting here like, this is dumb.
Yeah, like
Why
why
are we
like
doing this?
I get that it's and like but like his thing is like this is the kind of thing that I feel like on principle if Bob hadn't seen it happen at Jimmy Presto also he probably would have just next time he saw the guy just tell him you gotta pay for your
Yeah,
food.
exactly.
Like that's more Bob style than this whole half-brained scheme. I mean it works out, we get our revenge and shrimp situation, but it's yeah, I agree. It's out of character for him to just like. I mean, it's not out of character for him to also help somebody else because he sees it now being a whole
Yeah.
thing. But it's I think it's more out of character that Jimmy Pesto would agree to band together with him than Bob doing it
Yeah, but like
specifically.
I feel like Jimmy Pesto would be more so the one be like, why would I do this with you? Like I don't like you. Because he's always being so mean
Yeah,
to Bob. In Bob's
exactly.
worst moments. And
So,
like I can't stand him as a character. Maybe that's my problem. It's biased.
no.
I can't stand this
There's
character.
there's also that, and also bologna calzone. Absolutely
No.
not.
Why does this exist?
No. So, but more thesis statements. Jimmy Pesto and Jimmy Jr. terrible people.
I'm trying to remember their actual name because I think I've only said it before a couple of times. Because I don't want to be like, the
It's like
pestos are the
Poplopovich.
worst. It's like Poplopovich. See, I can't fucking say it.
Poplopovich, I
Poplopovich.
think.
They're just the worst. Because then the poor twins, like I'm not even mad at the twins for being annoying. Like it makes sense that they're annoying.
Oh, I am. I'm mad at them for being
But
annoying.
you get what I'm saying when you look at the dynamics of the Poplopovich, whatever.
Just call them the
Pestos.
Pestos. I know it's not because actually I think for as far as we know, I think Pesto is what's on the kids' school information.
Is it? I don't think we have ever seen if it is or not.
I thought we had seen that at one point.
Because he just always says Jimmy Jr. and then they say Andy and Ollie. We don't actually hear the kids.
Oh, I thought we had.
I'm gonna like scour the internet now to see if there is a time that happens,
Okay.
so I can make sure I point it out.
I like it.
But what did you rate this one?
So I gave this one 9s across the board. Weirdly enough.
Me too.
I
Same
really
score.
Okay, so we're 2 for 2 with the same score, and this is the first time we've given, like, other than like we've given things 30s. I think it's the first time we've given something the same score with the same numbers.
I think so. Usually it's like we both gave 30s, but we both gave 27, exactly the same too.
Okay, yeah, because mostly it just lost a point each for the B plot.
Really, honestly, same.
But I liked I liked the A plot enough, mainly because I found the surprise of it. I mean, obviously the clues were there the entire
It was
time,
good,
but
right?
of it being the judge the entire time, that is a very good twist ending. Because like, this is something I was saying in this thing the other day about how endings, they need to feel surprising but inevitable, and it's hard to do
It
both.
is. But I mean,
Because
just
inevitable is what makes it satisfying. Surprising is what makes it interesting.
I'm so happy that you felt the same. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Because I never know with
go
these
us.
episodes. Like, okay.
No, I know, because like this, but this is, so yeah. If you listen to the once episode that came out earlier this week, we gave it the same score but with different
Yep.
numbers. So like we're like
Let's see
so
what's gonna
close.
happen
Because
on
like us
this
both
next
giving
one
something
too. Like,
I know, us both giving something a 30. That happens. I mean,
yeah. When
that's
something's really good, it's good.
that it's good. But like also for us to both give it 9s across the board, I love that.
All right. Are you ready for episode 12, Like Jean for Chocolate?
I am.
Okay. Gene has been accused of giving up when it gets hard, and he takes it personally. He discovers his favorite candy, Chunky Blastoffs, have been changed to a new look and recipe. Gene is determined to get his candy back to the original recipe and starts visiting the factory. He meets Ferdinand Sprat, the heir of Sprat Sweets. They form a sort of friendship and slowly discuss how to get the board to agree with them. Ferdinand gives up, forcing Gene to sneak into a board meeting and convince them himself. They decide in the end to not change the recipe, but gave Gene the last of the supply of the previous version. Teddy asks to clean golf balls in the Belcher's industrial dishwasher and explains how he retrieves and resells them. Teddy tells Bob he wants to try to get to the deep at the golf course and convinces Bob to join him. They get a lot of golf balls, but lose most of them when trying to get away from the guard. I'm gonna say this now. I feel this is already also gonna be like, oh, the A plot was actually enjoyable. The B plot, once again,
So much Teddy.
So, but what did you get for the vacant storefront for this one?
That was brush it again, Sam. Refurbished
No,
toothbrushes.
thank you.
Absolutely
and
not.
the pest control truck.
That was No Country for Old Mice pest control.
It's a pun.
It is. So there was, I think, a burger and a half.
So, yeah, so like one of them is not fully visible. We get like a word.
Yeah.
So don't.
So the full burger is the Citizen Kale burger.
There was another one.
The other one, I have It Takes ... burger.
Oh, so okay. So the other one is, it just says bites. That's the one that's not fully visible. The other one is supposed to take It Takes Two to Mango. It says presumed not fully visible. So we're assuming
okay.
it takes. We're recording in the middle of the day. That's our first problem.
We have too much energy, and therefore our brains work faster than our mouths.
They do. That's exactly what's happening. But no, it's not fully visible, but that's presumed. But the title of this episode is a reference to the Laura Esquivel novel Like Water for Chocolate. That's all I know. I don't know what the book is about, and I am not really inclined to find out.
Okay.
The font used for the title and the script cover resembles the font used for the title of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, which I feel is to be expected.
Mm-hmm.
The changing of the formula in Chunky Blastoffs mirrors that of the Hershey Company replacing the cocoa butter in some of their products with vegetable oil as an emulsifier to reduce costs without having to raise prices or decrease sizes, as well as Cadbury replacing the dairy milk chocolate on their cream egg with standard cocoa mixed chocolate. Both changes resulted in a large number of protests from consumers. And no one likes when their chocolate changes recipe.
No, I understand. And like, to be fair, I'm still mad, and this is easily like 25 years later, but I'm still mad at the loss of Butterfinger BBs.
I think my husband feels the same. He loves Butterfinger.
I love Butterfingers. I still love them, but there was something real special about them in the little tiny spherical form. They just tasted better that way. And they're gone, and I miss them every day. I still remember the day that I first went to go get them, and they weren't there.
Oh, that's never fun.
I was so sad.
So then we have Stop and Spend, the convenience store where Gene discovers the Chunky Blastoff change was previously seen during the RoboStash segment of Sliding Bob's. The appearance in this episode establishes that the store actually exists in canon.
Okay.
It's not just imaginary. The gummy tube candy bar, manufactured by Spratz, is actually seen in full bars. which I
Okay.
think is kind of cool because like it's been a
Yeah,
while
the
since full
continuity. Yeah.
bars.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's really good continuity for that
Yeah.
long.
Oh yeah.
And then among the different candies made by Sprat Sweets, we've got, of course, the Chunky Blastoffs, something called Slappies,
Okay.
Midas Bar, which that's like a Mars bar in my mind,
Yeah.
Uncle Nuts, a Gosh Darn It, which
Yeah.
Smudge Bar, I could see that.
Mm-hmm.
Zozzles?
Like Razzles,
That's
maybe?
what I was thinking. Zozzles make me think of Razzles. Of
Yeah.
course, the gummy tube, which is just like gum. Uh,
Yeah.
Chocolate Loaf.
Why not, honestly?
And of
What why not
course,
have a loaf of chocolate?
Sprinkle Sprackles, which I feel like Sprinkle
Yes.
Spracklers make me think of nerds.
Yeah, I was thinking nerds or like maybe like Skittles.
Yeah, but I personally did not take a ton of notes during this. I have one line that I wrote down.
Okay.
But apart from that, I feel like most of my commentary is just in my brain because
Mm-hmm.
a lot happens in this, but a lot doesn't. So it's kind of,
Yeah.
but the one line I wrote down was, and we're all sure this guy is actually who he says he is. I'm just saying, he is a stranger giving Jean candy. The best kind of stranger. And I just want to start off with the fact of like, Bob was being a good parent in this
Yeah.
situation, and Linda was not.
Yeah. Well, did we talk about this on the podcast or did I just tell you this? I don't remember that someone was offering candy at a bar mixer I was at a few weeks ago.
No, I don't think you told me about this one.
I didn't tell you this? Okay. So I was at a mixer at a bar and
Normal
someone
thing.
had a wait, say that again?
Oh, I said that's a normal thing.
Okay, it's a normal thing.
Yeah.
And someone had candy from like a shop that's not too far from the bar, and just said as we're a bunch of us were just talking was, did anybody want any gay bacon? Because it's like that like rainbow like strip gummy candy that's like sour.
Mm-hmm.
And at first I said no, thank you, and then I saw like yeah, why not? And as I'm taking it, and someone else is taking a piece too, and went, I'm taking candy from a stranger. This is definitely something I was told not to do as a child.
It's right up there with don't run with scissors.
Exactly, but like it was like candy that I recognize, and it was like it was sealed when they opened it. So like I was fine, but I wrote down a couple of lines as well. She's the divorcee, not me yet. We like that Jean has future plans, I guess. We'll still make candy the same way we're still making candy the same way our founder Ferdinand Spratt did over 80 years ago, but with robots.
Yep.
If you thought nougat liked humidity, you'd be wrong. Dead wrong.
That was a good one.
And then lastly, just your eye is bleeding. I don't know why I wrote that one down when he's throwing the candy at people.
Tina was really kind of enjoying in this though, because I was that kid. Like when we did go do stuff like that, I wanted all the information. I really enjoyed learning everything. Everyone else is like, let's get this, let's go do this. This is boring. And I'm the one who said, they're like, but I haven't read that plaque yet. Like, I'm that person. Like,
okay.
Don't go on a hike with me. I'm gonna look at all the plaques and stop every few minutes because I'm like, what kind of flower is this? I have issues. But
I can never take you to the Bronx Zoo then because there's plaques every 5 feet.
I'm better about it when my kids are with me because if my kids are like, no, we gotta go, like obviously I have to chase the 4-year-old. But usually, we'll walk up and I try and like when the kids are in the mood, I can get them to be like, let's read this. What's this animal? Like I am that mom. I can't help it. I homeschool. Like, what do you expect?
Yeah, exactly. But there was where am I in my notes? Wow. When so when Jean does his first attempt at like a strongly worded message, I was like, this is the most efficient like corporate live chat I've ever seen. Like it really was like 2 interactions. I mean, he didn't get the answer he wanted, but it was like 2 interactions and that was it. But why was the founder heir's office on the like? I mean, I know they didn't go to it, but why is that shouldn't be on the route where the tour goes?
No, it should not. That's supposed to be far away where no one can get
and
near.
Unlocked. So it just, when Jean is the voice of reason in a situation, or is the voice of getting something done, something's real wrong.
Oh yeah, like he was determined. I was really proud of him through this.
Yeah, and like I liked Linda's. I mean, I know I still stand by Linda should not have kept bringing him back, although she did call it their after school snack activity, which I thought was very cute. But she should not have kept bringing him back. But her initial I mean, yes, she wanted to have the free candy, but the initial plan that kind of go to the factory tour, let him try, it'll fail, and then he'll be let down easier. That's not a bad method.
No, it's a good method. It was the returning constantly, letting
Yeah,
him
that
spend
was
time with a complete stranger by himself.
yeah.
That was a bad idea.
That's where the dun dun from Law and Order SVU starts coming in.
Oh, is that a trademark sound effect? Like, can we get the dun dun in there?
I think that might be trademark. I don't think they
that
can
might be
use that.
trademark.
But you just have me soundbite it.
Dun
Dun
dun.
dun. That's not copyrighted, not yet at least.
I would like
We'll
to
just
remind
loop
everybody,
me
we're
doing
recording
that.
this during the day. The sun is out.
On New Year's Eve.
On New Year's Eve. Like, whew, what is wrong with us? Don't answer that. Anyways.
Just keep looping me doing that if you ever need it.
Dun dun. So,
Dun.
Teddy.
Oh my god.
There was so much Teddy.
Not only was it okay, here's my thing with Teddy, and this continues to be a thing about Teddy, but I say this all the time. I know this is the plot they chose. His dishwasher's broken. He's a handyman.
Yep.
Why could he not just fix? I mean, I know he's using his dishwasher to clean golf balls, which probably is why it's broken, but like, why can't he just fix his own dishwasher? I don't understand. But it was also a case of not only was it so much Teddy, because we've had episodes with a significant amount of Teddy in them that haven't bothered me as much.
Yeah, because like Uncle Teddy was
but
great.
I liked Uncle Teddy, but this one has the very Teddy-like thing of the not understanding, the talking over Bob thing, the continual back and forth, relaying, circling of the same thing. There was so much of that in this episode.
That's
that
the
was
whole
just like,
episode, like the whole B plot is just Teddy being
that's
Teddy.
the whole B plot. And like, I don't think a hose works as a snorkel. I think it's too long of a tube for effective breathing.
It is. There's no way the air can make it from one end to the other in time.
No one has that. No one has that lung capacity.
Mm-mm.
So
he also would have died doing it.
Yes.
But also expecting Bob to be the one to jump in. It's like, you didn't ask him to do that.
No, you asked him for help, and I also would have assumed you want me to hold the hose.
So,
but they dropped so many balls. They dropped so many golf balls on the way out.
All because of his like just the whole situation, like from beginning to end. I'm just kind of like, this is annoying. I don't like this storyline. Take me back to the factory because it's more interesting. Because the girls were being super supportive. Like the kids always seem to be very supportive of each other, which is really, really nice. But that's why I brought my like thoughts mostly for this episode down to Linda and Bob showing two very different ways of parenting, while both trying to be supportive, but also like I've told you, sometimes my husband and I have our whole like who's having a harder day. Sometimes we like have a who's a worse parent kind of thing, because sometimes you can't be perfect. Perfection doesn't exist. So like there's days that we're horrible parents and we're just like, fuck, I did that. Like mistakes happen. I feel like this is further than a mistake that Linda's like, yeah, go hang out with a stranger and eat candy. No,
that's like
too far.
At the very least, she should be with Gene while he's in these meetings with Ferdy. Like it's the fact of, yes, go hang out with this random guy in his office by yourself.
And then allowing him like on mechanical, like,
oh yeah, like the
thing, the lift,
the cherry picker
they were
thing,
like playing on lifts in the middle of the factory, and I'm like, this is extremely dangerous. There are no helmets involved. I am such a mom that I'm sitting here like nitpicking about the safety of an animated child. Like, I can't help it.
No, I'm aware. I agree, because I mean, my brain still goes to the someone call Olivia Benson situation of this, because this is how so many of these episodes go. But it's just it's an animated show, so therefore everything that happens is always a little implausible. But like this one is just to the umpteenth degree. I think because to the fact that Gene did almost change their minds about the candy. And like, I mean, then all it took was a 5-second cost analysis to be like, this is gonna be millions of dollars. Oh, we're not doing that, which that made sense. But like, he almost succeeded. And I'm like, I know this is an animated show that sometimes we have happy endings, but Really?
That's hard to do. To convince a
Yeah.
whole room of executives to spend money and change something due to for joy and happiness, that doesn't
Mm-hmm.
exist.
That does not happen. Not when there's money on the line. They're
No.
not doing things just for the sole enjoyment of one person.
And I
But I
say
honestly
that
think
with
this
like
entire
a lot of like hurt. Like it's sad
yeah.
that is the reality.
Oh yeah. But like it's also kind of sad that the reality is that had Ferdy started with the we still have thousands of crates of the original recipe in our warehouse. Do you want some? Had he started with that, this whole episode wouldn't have happened.
Yep, because then he would still at least get his candy and maybe hopefully grow out of that while still being able to have that because
Mm-hmm.
like we all hate a recipe change, especially if you're
Oh yeah.
autistic. I will say,
Mm-hmm.
like, it is a life altering situation when you're autistic
Oh yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
a recipe is changed. There are things that I have stopped buying because I'm like, nope, I can tell they changed it. I can't eat this and had to find a different option. It's the same with my
Yeah.
kids. Like, they can tell
Yeah.
so quickly. And so I get it. I do get it. But usually at this age, you would grow out of that, usually,
Mm-hmm.
barring, any other type of neurodivergencies. And so, like, I get it, but at the same time, I'm just like, the best part of it is the fact that Gene went through with something. He did not give up,
Yeah.
which was the whole point.
Yeah.
Like, they did, like,
Yeah.
he needed to stop giving up and try really hard, which was
Mm-hmm.
another thing of like, we're always seeing the kids' growth. Tina, it's always her awkward tweenhood of decisions that
Mm-hmm.
make us all cringe very, very much because we're just like, oh, don't do that you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
With Gene, it's
'Cause we
always like,
remember.
yeah. I love with Gene, it's usually a confidence thing or a follow
Mm-hmm.
through. And then Louise,
Yeah.
it's morals.
Yeah.
It's always her trying to find her way. So they do stick to these
Mm-hmm.
things with the kids, but I really love it because then sometimes you do have a storyline of Gene having to grow up a little bit and get into the awkwardness that it is to be, what is he, like 11? Like,
Yeah.
I enjoy that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very interesting when you
No, I
start
agree.
seeing the patterns that they do with the storylines for the kids because then they do it with the parents
Mm-hmm.
from time to time too.
Yeah, and like to be like the plot lines themselves can be repetitive.
Mm-hmm.
Like because like you said, they're following a pattern. But it's always it's kind of like I put this in the same thing of like when people say that all romance books are the same or all fantasy books are the same. Like I'll stick with romance because that's what I can talk to better than I can
Yeah.
talk to fantasy. The fact that most romances have a very similar plot structure, that they end in a happily ever after, so they're all the same, so why bother reading them? But what's different about them is the execution, it's the situation, it's the
Mm-hmm.
characters. And with Jean, the another episode that has this very similar like character growth is the one with the black garlic burger episode where like he learned that like gening out means to mess something up and he wants to fix this and make it right.
Yep.
It's that very similar thing of the overcoming the way other people see him to do the right thing or to experience
Mm-hmm.
follow through. But it's a very different situation. That one and different stakes. That one had the stakes of his dad and the competition. This one is more personal stakes in that he can finally get something done that he wants. And it's interesting to see it in those different lights.
I've never thought I'd be this analytic over Bob's Burgers. It's so much fun.
The way that this podcast has just changed how we watch our own shows, new shows, or any media, because like the fact that the Wicked digital release came with commentary, like I was not someone who ever felt particularly compelled to watch things with audio commentary all the time until I intentionally started doing it for the podcast, and now I'm like, and the second I saw there was commentary, I'm like, I'm watching this. Like I didn't even start watching a regular version of Wicked. I started with Cynthia and Ariana commentary.
Which was always like, I'm kind of the same way because like after the Barbie movie came out,
Mm-hmm.
I got really excited when I saw that HBO had the commentary one too.
Yeah.
And the commentary is just Greta
Yeah.
talking about all the things and her visual, and I loved it, I think, more than just watching the movie.
Yeah.
Commentary is actually, I never understood as a kid. I was like, who wants to watch director's commentary? That sounds so boring.
Yeah.
Now I'm 30 and I'm like, we're going to watch this documentary with commentary and all these different things because it's so interesting. And I'm like, I'm an old person now.
Yeah, we're old, but it's a different viewing experience because, like I said in the
Yeah.
once episode, in my mind now, I may have paid one price for the movie, but I paid one price for 4 different versions of the movie.
Which is good. Just I hope that I'm a physical media person.
I
That's all
know.
I mean by that.
I know that the physical one definitely comes with theatrical and sing along, and it says that it has theatrical. It has like extras and bonus features. So I
Okay.
would be shocked if it didn't have both commentaries.
If it doesn't have both commentaries, that is when I contact you and go, hey, I only have one of the two commentaries. I'd like to watch the other one. How can I do this with you? Help me.
Because friendship in this day and age is sharing streaming service passwords.
It is. It is. It is like
And to be
the point
fair,
I have offered some of my own to people, like friends, and they're just like, "Oh, I already paid for that one," and I'm like, "No, but like we can get away with this. Let me be a good friend to you."
Which, to be fair, you having access to one of my streaming services is how you watch the movie that we're going to talk about.
And it was great, and it works out, and like I feel like it's going. All this is going so well.
Yeah.
I just don't know what to do.
I do have one more thing about the episode
Ooh,
before we go on before we talk about stats or the tangents. I really liked the Trojan horse aspect of getting Jean into the building.
Yes,
That
it was cool, right?
It was so smart. So I just want to say that.
So what did you rate this?
So it gets 6s for plot and character.
That's fine.
That's because, like, again, the B plot was just horrendous to watch, but in general, but then also just Linda not really making smart choices, again with the someone call Olivia Benson situation. It gets a 7 for personal. It almost got 6s across the board. It literally got 1 more point because your eye is bleeding made me laugh so hard.
Are you serious?
That's where that 1 point comes from.
So what's that total?
That is a 19.
Not bad. Not bad. It's heavy on Teddy, so I kind of expected that because I gave plot and personal 7s.
Okay.
And I gave character 8.
Okay. So
it's only a 22 for me. So that's actually not that far.
Each category is only off by 1 point at that point.
Yeah, exactly. So, but no, this is getting. It's so funny to be doing this for as long as we have, and I still have moments of like, all right, we're really getting into this.
I do also
like, no, we're into this.
I know, but actually I have one more comment before we finish off, because did you recognize in the chase scene with the golf cart something that looks very similar to something you saw in the movie? I realize we're talking about this. Our episode about What's Up Doc, which will have come out in January. We're talking about it now.
I don't think I picked up on that because I watched.
Did you?
I probably watched them too far apart.
Possibly.
To be able to pick up on it.
They make a turn and they keep going. They go down a set of stairs in the golf cart.
Yes.
Much like.
Oh wait, they did that.
It's also in the giant chase scene of What's Up Doc.
That's the giant chase scene,
which we will talk about.
We're about to talk about. We're about to talk about it, and just
if you haven't, I can't tell you what it's going to be called because we're going to record it now. But when you're listening to this, it'll be out. It will have been out the second week of January.
And it's our first movies, and so yes, and if you want early access to all the things, please come join Patreon, where our chaos is unscripted.
Extremely.
That's really a great tagline. Join our Patreon. The chaos is unscripted.
Yep. Thank you all for listening. Join us next time when we discuss the Once Upon a Time Season 3 finale, episodes 321, Snowdrifts, and 322, There's No Place Like Home. Don't forget to like, rate, and follow the podcast wherever you listen so you can be notified every time we publish a new episode. Follow us at OBDYK_pod on Instagram and TikTok. And if you'd like to join our Patreon, you can find the link with more details in our show notes.
This has been an episode of Okay, But Did You Know? A TV and media podcast. It was hosted by Katie and Lauren and edited by Katie.